What's up, guys? This is Jeremy, or JT, whatever you want to call me, and you are listening to the Let's Grow podcast. Thank you so much for choosing to invest some of your time with me. This is your place for a shot of encouragement, real conversations, real people that we hope and pray will simply add value to your life, right? Help you grow, help you get better. That's really what we want to do here, leave you better than we found you. And I'm excited about this conversation today, what we're going to talk about. But I want you to know, whether you're tuning in for the first time, if you're watching, if you're listening, wherever you get your podcast at, wherever you download them at, I appreciate the gift of your time that you're giving me, and in hopes that I can speak some truth, speak some life, encourage you along in your journey, wherever you find yourself, whatever you're going through, whoever you are, whatever you do, right? Thank you so much. I realize in this crazy internet, tech, sophisticated, right, world, that you could be anywhere in the corner of the internet or social media, but you've chosen to be right here, right now. And I certainly don't take that lightly. And so I appreciate you, my friend. Also, wherever you listen to your podcast, if you find, I usually put this blurb on the back end of the podcast, but I'm going to say it on the front end today. Wherever you listen to your podcast at, if you could leave a review. If it's a terrible review, you can save that for another day, right? Ain't nobody trying to hear nothing negative. I'm just joking, right? I would honestly appreciate a review. That helps me get this content in front of more people. And so share it with a friend, share it with a family member. If you find the conversations that we have here, the people that I introduce you to, the stories that we tell, if you find it beneficial for you, share it with someone that you know. But also, please leave a review wherever you listen to your podcast. I greatly appreciate it, and it will certainly help us out. And while we're making some plugs and making some blurbs, I'm rocking my Blenders Eyewear blue light glasses. I'm trying to make some healthier choices with the screen time that I have on my phone, on my tablet, on my laptop. Most of you know that I work from home. A lot of people are doing that these days, and whether you work from home or not, obviously the pandemic has created an uptick in that. Technology is a part of our world, and we increasingly have a lot more screen time than we ever had before. So I would encourage you, number one, set some boundaries around that, right? If you're getting that little ding on Sunday afternoons that's telling you how much screen time, and it says you've been spending half a day each day on your phone, right? You need to fix that, right? Do something about that. But I would also encourage you to go to blenderseyewear.com, check out these blue light glasses. Definitely help keep my eyes from getting too dry, headaches, tired eyes of an evening, right? Interrupting sleep. My wife and I, we have nothing but good things to say about them. One of the best investments that we made since we've been spending more time on our tech devices based on the work that we do. And so go to blenderseyewear.com. You can use our affiliate code Team Taylor, TEAMTAYLOR. Use that code at checkout, get 16% off. And thank you for that. I think you'll like the shades that they have. Super dope shades, and several designs in blue light glasses as well. Makes a great gift. Holiday season is among us. A great gift for a family member, maybe a coworker, right? Maybe you're a leader and you want to gift something to your team. This would be a great gift. And maybe a young person in your life who now has a tech device and is spending too much time on Snapchat, TikTok, you name it. Maybe a good gift for them as well to protect their eyes. But blenderseyewear.com, Team Taylor code at checkout, 16% off. Thank you guys for that. We've enjoyed being an affiliate there and have enjoyed their great products. But let's dive in. Let's talk about the importance of our words. The fact that every day we have a choice on what we say, regardless of where we're at, who we're around, what situation that we find ourselves in, all right? No one is really twisting our arm and making us say things that we don't want to say, right? So regardless of how you may be feeling, right? Whatever you're going through, the relationships, work life, frustrations with maybe health or finances. Listen, I never, ever want to downplay difficult situations that people are walking through, right? You may be experiencing, you may have recently received some news. That's the last thing on the planet that you ever wanted to hear, right? I want you to know that I'm always going to be sensitive to different situations that people are going through, or maybe things that I've never even experienced myself. But it's important that we also empower one another to take responsibility for the fact that we get to choose our attitude and our actions on a daily basis, right? And with that, with that means that those things impact the people around us, right? So instead of, it's kind of like the little story of the coffee bean. I think John Gordon and Damon West. I think Damon West, author that, they partnered together on the little book of the coffee bean, and they use a little story of an egg. What happens whenever you put an egg in boiling water, right? In hot water, it becomes hard, right? What happens when you put a carrot in boiling water? It becomes soft, right? The environment is influencing, right, how those things change. But what happens when you put a coffee bean in hot water, right? The coffee bean transforms the water into coffee, right? And we all know that some of you are coffee maniacs, and so that beautiful aroma of coffee, right? That caffeinated beverage that you live for every day, that gets you through the day, right? But instead of allowing the environment to influence you, right, you influence your environment like that coffee bean. And so therein lies, one of the ways that we get to influence our environment is with our words, right? We've heard the old adage that, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, right? And we know that somebody lied to us along the way, right? Somebody lied to us, because words do matter. Words do hurt. Words can break us down, all right? Just ask someone who has been talked down to their whole life what their value, how they see themselves, right? Their self-esteem, how valuable they feel like they are because of what people have said to them their whole life, right? So I'm saying all this just to kind of set the stage and firm up this whole idea that words matter and we get to choose our words. But sadly, we're living at a time where it's easier, because of the lack of accountability, of being in community with people, right? Living life face to face, and most people communicating from behind a screen. We're more apt to say things that maybe we wouldn't say to someone's face. And on top of that, we're allowing outside forces, we're allowing the pressures and the circumstances of our lives to dictate what we say and how we say it, even if maybe we don't mean those things that we say. And then also, we're just not keeping at the forefront. We're not keeping it, at the forefront of our lives, that what we do and what we say truly influences the world around us, right? So, all that being said, I'm reminded real quick of a story that I read in a book on marriage, and it was a devotional. And this particular gentleman is a author, and he's also he runs a consulting agency, or he's a counselor, basically a marriage counselor. And so he's talking to this couple, and the she's like, I'm so frustrated. Like, I don't have anything good to say about my husband. Like, I don't know how to compliment him anymore. I don't know what to say to make him feel better about himself. I'm just so frustrated. I don't have anything positive to say at all. And the counselor's like, you mean to tell me that you went through the trouble of marrying this guy and you don't have anything positive to say about him? And he's like, let me ask you a question. Does he take a shower? And she's like, yeah. He's like, well, let's start there, because not all men do. And obviously that's a funny little example there. But what this counselor was doing was he was moving her in a direction of being able of helping her understand that no matter how frustrated I am, I can still find something positive to say. I can still choose to focus on something good, right? I can still choose to see great things in the people around me. Therefore, if I see great things, I can say great things about them, and I can feel good about the fact that that is empowering them to be the best version of themselves, because our words matter, right? At home, at work, in the community, on the team, right? No matter where we're at, no matter what environment we're in, our words matter, right? So I jotted down a couple of things that I wanted to make sure that I shared before I close this short episode down. And they're elementary ideas, something maybe that you can write down on a Post-it note, maybe something that you can write down on a note card to keep in your pocket, or something that you can write down and utilize as a conversation at the dinner table with your family. You can talk about, okay, what are some of the conversations that you've had today? And let's talk about how our words either helped people or hurt people. Every day in our house, we talk with our little 3.5-year-old. My son, his name is Miles, for those of you who aren't familiar with my little family. And, we speak truth into Miles's life every day because we realize that ultimately the conversation that we're having with him will eventually become the conversation that he's having with himself and having with other people later on in life. And so we say things that are easy for him to remember, easy for him to repeat, and hopefully because of the repetitive nature of that and him taking ownership of those things and embracing those things, they will become one with who he is as he grows. And we say, we don't hurt people, we help people, right? We don't hurt people, we help people. We want to be great teammates. We want to be encouragers. We want to be known for people who love, serve, and care for the folks around us. We want to be folks that people look at and say, man, I want to be around them because I like the way I feel when I'm with them. When can I see them again, right? And so I want you to jot this down if you're taking notes, or maybe put this in your notepad on your phone and you can have this conversation with someone at work, right? Or maybe your teenager or your spouse, whoever. But words matter. They either hurt or they either help. There really is no in between, right? For the most part, they are edifying and encouraging, or they are de-edifying and discouraging, right? But we get to choose how we use our words, whether it be talking to ourselves, whether it be talking to our Lord and Savior, whether it be talking to our spouse, right? Or the people that we work with. So your words, your choice. I want to encourage you all to be intentional in that regard. I can remember, I can remember in some of my earlier speaking engagements at schools, and I began to use a demonstration. Where I would pull out like some money, like a dollar bill, or like a 20 rather, right? A 20 is a little bit more attractive than a 1, right? And so I would pull out like a $20 bill, and I still do this on some occasions, but I would pull out a $20 bill and I would use this little example of like doing different things to that money, and asking the kids if they would still take that 20 if I gave it to them, like folding it up, crumpling it up, tearing it just a little bit, right? And the illustration was to communicate the idea and the truth that no matter what we did to the money, it still held its value, right? So why would you still want this $20 bill with all these things that have been done to it? It's been stepped on. It's been thrown down, right? It's gotten dirty. It's been crumpled up. It's because you still understand that there's value to that $20 bill, and you could still use it to exchange it for goods, products, and services, right? And so I use that to illustrate this idea for young people that no matter what is done or said to them, they still have value. And I remember some of those early times of sharing that illustration in schools, seeing kids begin to cry in the audience. I remember seeing a little girl lay her head down on her friend's shoulder one time in a speaking engagement as she started to cry. And whether it be she felt a little embarrassed or she was just kind of, I just don't want anyone to see me over here crying. Obviously, I could tell because I'm in front of the room. But I can remember that situation at that particular school, that young lady laying her head down on her friend's shoulder and beginning to cry. Seeing other kids, begin to, I guess you'd say, embrace the emotional aspect of some adult who they believe genuinely cares about them, speaking some truth into their life and reminding them that whether it be they're in a foster care situation or a single parent situation, a fatherless home, being raised maybe by their grandparents because of issues that they experience with their parents, mental, verbal, emotional, sexual abuse, you name it. whatever's happening, the sad reality is that you find any group of people, there's a really good chance that there's some bad things that's happened to several people, in that said group. And so I can remember communicating to those kids, listen, I need you to know as an adult who genuinely cares about you as a person, that no matter what you've done or what's been done to you, you will never lose your value, right? You will never lose your value. And man, when I started using that illustration in schools, I really started to understand the power of my words. That some of these kids aren't hearing people say, I love you, I appreciate you, I'm proud of you, I believe in you, like it's routine for me and my wife to say to our son every night at bed, right? We say those things because we understand, as the good book tells us, that there is life, the power of life and death truly is in the tongue. That we have the ability to move the hearts of people, that with our words, that we have the ability to say things to people that can truly transform their lives, because the words that we speak into their life can begin to change them for the better, all right, or change them for the worse. All right. So all that being said, my goal here on this particular episode was to remind you that in a time and space that we're living in, where it seems like more people are saying things that probably they wouldn't say if they were, face to face with someone, or they're saying things maybe out of anger, out of frustration because of the pressures that they're under, or the situations that they find themselves in. I want to encourage you to be a difference maker in all of the spaces that you're in by understanding the power and the intentionality that you have with the words that you speak, right? Every single day, I believe this with every fiber of my being, every single day is an opportunity, is a new day, is a new opportunity to make a positive difference in the lives of the people around us. We don't have to go far to make a difference in someone's life, right? There are people in our homes, there are people in our workspaces, there are strangers that we're walking by, there are restaurants that we go to, right? There are goods and products that we're purchasing at various different stores. There are people that we around every day who can use a kind word. And you know how I know they can use a kind word? Because I could use a kind word. You could use a kind word. Everyone could use a kind word. And if we really, no one in their right mind would raise their hand and say, you know what, I want to live at a place. I want to work at a place. I want to go to school at a place. I want to be on a sports team, right? I want to be in an environment where people are just rude and crude to one another, right? No one in their right mind would say, I want to be in environments where people are bullying one another, where people are slandering one another, where people are looking for the bad in other people, where people are gossiping, talking, right? Complaining, criticizing. No one in their right mind would say, sign me up for that. That's exactly what I have dreamed my whole life, right? I have dreamed of living in a place where that is the consistency and that is the culture. No one would say that, right? So if we don't want to be in those spaces, then we have the ability to influence what that culture, what those environments look like by being positive and proactive every day and saying, you know what, I'm going to respond to the negativity with something positive, right? I'm going to be an encourager instead of someone who's feeding into, right, this cycle of negativity, this cycle of complaining and criticizing and gossiping, right? So that being said, words are a reflection, right? And here's where the rubber meets the road, because here's the personal accountability. Here's what we really have to come to grips with. Words are ultimately a reflection of our heart, right? Where we typically don't say things intentionally that we don't mean, right? Now, do we say things from time to time and make mistakes, and we say things out of character that we obviously need to apologize for, that we wish we could take back? Of course. But for the most part, long range, right? You take a track record, you look at the track record of what you say and how you say it. For the most part, it will usually line up with the type of person that you are, right? I have to think about that on a consistent basis as a speaker and coach, right? What am I saying? How am I saying it? How am I using my words to influence people? Is it in a way that I feel like honors God? Is it in a way that I can feel good at night, right? That I can lay my head down and sleep good at night, feeling good about what I've done and what I've said, right? So the personal accountability is this: words are ultimately a reflection of our heart, right? It's a reflection of who we are, It's a reflection of our character and what we believe about ourselves, other people, and the world, right? So, what are you saying? How are you saying it? And how can we make some adjustments to be a little bit more positive and to be a little bit more encouraging? If you're struggling in the marriage, I can promise you, if you haven't completely given up yet, and I pray that you don't give up, you can find something good to say about your spouse. If you have an estranged relationship with one of your children and things haven't gone the way that you want them to, I can promise you that you can find something good to say to them, right? Whether it be you speaking it out loud, it's in a text message, it's in a handwritten note. Your words matter, and your words can be the difference maker in someone's life at work, right? If you're unhappy and there's been some conflict that's taken place and you just can't get along with some people that you work with, or you're not really happy with the leadership, right? You don't necessarily have to like everything about what's going on to say something positive. You can still choose to say, you know what, although I wish I could rip her head off, right? Although I wish I could punch him in the gut, right? I'm going to find something good to say because I'm going to choose, right? I'm going to choose to say and speak life into the people, into the things. I'm going to do what I feel like is best, not feed into maybe a toxic situation and allow my environment to influence me into becoming someone or saying things that I don't want to do or say. So all that being said, remember, guys, I love you all. I appreciate you all dearly. Oh, I forgot to make a quick plug. Here's some fresh merch, some new merch on the website. Hit that, guys. JeremyATaylor.com/shop. All right. Hit that Encourage Wear tab. Check out our new, this is the first release in our Greater Than series. Humility is greater than hype, right? Be a person who models humility and hard work, right? Versus the hype. And so check that out. Maybe that's a great gift for someone this season, but we're going to be dropping a few more with a couple other messages as well. All of them affiliated with this greater than symbol. So be on the lookout for that. They may be one-time release only based on supply chain with the pandemic. And, we just don't know how much product we want to keep in stock, right? Inventory in stock. But either way, I'm loving this shirt, right? Simple message, modern design, really can create some conversation. And I think that the message kind of speaks for itself. So humility over hype, check that out. But I love you guys. I appreciate your time today. I'm signing off. Remember, don't just go through life, grow through life, and everybody can encourage somebody. We will see you guys on the next episode. And again, like, subscribe, share, leave a review, all of that, because I appreciate your support. I hope you got something positive from this message today in regards to using your words with intentionality, because there's power with your words. Remember that. So use your words to build people up, not tear people down. Be known as someone who is speaking life into the lives of others. We'll see you guys next time.